Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back. Let us continue with our history lesson number 11, New Political Formations in the 18th Century. In the previous class, we learned about the state of Hyderabad, Awadh, the Sikh and the Punjab and the Jats. Today, we are going to learn about the Rajputs and the rise of Mysore. So, let us begin with the Rajputs first. So the Rajputs actually they were not united, they were not organized in a single power, and there were many reasons for this. First reason was that they were involved in frequent wars or quarrels among themselves. They were not united, and because of this they could not emerge as a great central power. And even after the death of Aurangzeb, when the Mughal Empire was decaying, when there was the downfall of the Mughal Empire after the death of Aurangzeb, the Rajputs they failed to rise to this occasion, and they still continued their fighting, and thus they neutralized their resources, and they also lost the royal patronage which was given to them during the reign of Akbar. So that was also one of the reasons for the downfall of the Rajputs. And the Mughals and the Rajputs were like friends earlier during the reign of Akbar. They had friendly relations, but they fell apart during the period of Aurangzeb. So this friendly relation was not maintained during the reign of Aurangzeb. So this brought ruin to each of them, and both were at loss. And the Mughals they fell after the death of Aurangzeb, and the Rajputs also could never save themselves from this downfall. So with the rise of the Marathas and the Jats, they lost much of their influence and strength that they had so far gained. So the Marathas, Jats, they became more powerful, and Savai Raja Jaisingh of Jaipur, he was the exceptional of this. He was actually the great patron of learning, and he was a great scientist and astronomer, and that is why he was respected. So he had built the city, Pink City of Jaipur. He was the founder of the Pink City of Jaipur, and he also had built astronomical observatories, which is called as Jantar Mantar, at different places like Delhi, Jaipur, Banaras, Ujjain, and Mathura. And the Jantar Mantar at Mathura, it is now not in existence, but all other places it is still existing. So as a political power, the Rajputs were insignificant during the 18th century. That means they were not that powerful during the 18th century. Now we are going to see the rise of Mysore. Hyder Ali, he was the petty officer in the Mysore army, and he overthrew the ruling dynasty in AD 1760, and he became the ruler. Like for example, Pakistan was taken into control by the army general Pervez Musharraf by overthrowing the Nawaz Sharif and all, who was the prime minister that time. So same way, Hyder Ali, he was just a petty officer like Subedar in Mysore army, and he took control in his hand, and he became the ruler of that place. Hyder Ali actually he ruled over Mysore up to 1782, and he was a good administrator, and he succeeded in overpowering the rebels and greatly improved his financial position. So he was a good administrator, and that is why he was able to suppress the rebellions, those who were against him, those who were raising voice against him. He was able to suppress them, and he also improved the financial condition of the state. He was also not believing in caste system, and he appointed many Hindu rulers or Hindus to the higher ranks in his court. So he was still greater as an army general, and he had won many battles against the Marathas and the Nizam of Hyderabad, and also against the English. So when there was the first Anglo-Mysore war between the Mysore army and the English people in 1767 to 69, he went up to Madras and gave he defeated the English in that first Anglo-Mysore war. and then he went up to Madras and gave a tough fight to the Britishers over there. Then he showed his worth even during the Second Anglo-Mysore War, which took place in 1780 to 84, and he died in 1782 while this war was still going on. During the Second Anglo-Mysore War, he died in 1782. And after his death, his son Tipu Sultan, he became the ruler, and he ruled from 1782 to 1799. Like his father, Tipu Sultan was also a great soldier, brave soldier, and a great patriot. And it is said that his name is mentioned among the few Indian rulers who served his people well. So he was taking good care of the people of his kingdom, and during his reign he promoted trade and commerce and trade and industry. Many industries were set up in his kingdom, and farmers were given lot of respect, they were given help, they were taken care of. So because of this, many foreign historians, they say that during Tipu Sultan's reign, Mysore was a prosperous kingdom, and with green fields and abounding with industries. People new cities and towns. So many new cities and towns were built in Mysore, and the kingdom was prospering that time, and many industries were also set up. So it is said that Tipu Sultan tried to bring about many new changes, reforms means according to the time the changes which are brought. So he had brought many new reforms, and these reforms were as follows. First was he introduced a new series of weights and measures, and a new calendar was introduced, and a new system of coinage. That means new coins also were introduced, so that nobody can do cheating. The shopkeepers, those who are selling things, they cannot cheat common people. And it is also said that he was an efficient army general, and he had organized his army on European lines. How the European armies used to be trained, that way he organized his army. And it is said that he arranged his army with muskets and bayonets, which were manufactured in his own state. So many industries were set up in his own state, where the muskets and bayonets were manufactured, and they were supplied to his army. Muskets and bayonets are actually the rifles which have got muskets are actually the rifles, and bayonets are actually the steel kind of a weapon, a sharp weapon, like knife. Okay, so the rifles with knife, that is called muskets and bayonets. So these kind of muskets and bayonets were provided to the army by him, and these were manufactured in his own state. They were made in his own state. So he was a brave soldier and a great patriot, but it is said that when he got defeated, he went on fighting till his death, and he never sided with the British against his people. That means against his own countrymen. So those who were having friendly relation with him, he never went against them. And he was a tolerant ruler. He also gave many gifts and donations to the Hindu temples from time to time. That shows that he was also not believing in the caste system. And he was a far sighted statesman. That means वो बहुत दूरदर्शी थे, दूर की सोचने वाले थे. And it is also said that Tipu Sultan was a great poet, and he also had a fascination for learning. Fascination actually means attraction or akarshan, जिसको हम कहते हैं. So he had a great fascination for learning, and he had learnt many different languages, mathematics, science, etc. And it is said that he had nearly 2000 books in different languages in his library. So that shows his love towards learning. And he was so brave that the title of the Tiger of Mysore was given to him. He was also called as the Tiger of Mysore. So I hope you all have understood this chapter. Kindly read the chapter carefully, children, and the case study about Marathas which is given in your textbook, kindly read that also. And I have sent the question answers and objectives. So please do the objectives in your textbook and question answers in your copy. Thank you, children. Take care.